How are things going for you guys?
How did your crop come out then?
Well, we haven't harvested it yet, so we don't know how much
What the yield is.
and stuff. But it from as far as I can tell, it looks like everybody else's corn. So
Yeah, it's standing up.
it's standing up, and it's kind of yellow and hard. And I think our problem is figuring out what we want to do with it once we harvest it, because we've been out figuring out where it could go, and none of our options seem particularly attractive. And I'm not terribly impressed with
And you shouldn't be.
yeah.
Should be impressed at the stupidity. We aren't growing quality. We're growing crap. Poorest quality crap the world's ever seen. We're growing it today.
You don't eat the corn that you grow.
No.
On August 2nd, 2010, Reuters reported, "Cancer cells slurp up fructose, U.S. study finds." The article begins, "Pancreatic tumor cells use fructose to divide and proliferate." U.S. researchers said on Monday in a study that challenges the common wisdom that all sugars are the same. Tumor cells, fed both glucose and fructose, use the two sugars in two different ways, the team at the University of California, Los Angeles found. They said their finding, published in the journal Cancer Research, may help explain other studies that have linked fructose intake with pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest cancer types. On January 28, 2009, the Washington Post reported, "Study finds high fructose corn syrup contains mercury." The article reports that almost half of tested samples of commercial high fructose corn syrup contained mercury, which was also found in nearly a third of 55 popular brand name food and beverage products where high fructose corn syrup is the first or second highest labeled ingredient, according to 2 new U.S. studies. The Illinois Environmental Protection Agency has the following to say about mercury exposure on their website. "Mercury poses a health risk to everybody, but especially to young children and fetuses because they are still developing. Prolonged low-level exposure may cause learning disabilities by hurting the ability of children to think and read. Adults who have been exposed to high levels of mercury may experience trembling hands and numbness or tingling in their lips, tongues, fingers, and toes. Acute mercury poisoning, especially through ingestion, can damage the brain, liver, kidneys, and even cause death." On January 27, 2009, Natural News reported that the average American consumer may be eating 5 times the upper safety limit of mercury every day due to high fructose corn syrup consumption if they consume the foods tested in the study.
And now let's make that random call with today's $10,000 question. Who shot Alexander Hamilton in that famous duel?
Hello, for $10,000. Excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry, your time is up.
Got milk?
In 1973, several thousand pounds of Firemaster BP6, a fire retardant containing the chemical polybrominated biphenyl, or PBB, were accidentally mixed with livestock feed that was distributed to farms in the state of Michigan. About 1.5 million chickens, 30,000 cattle, 5,900 pigs, and 1,470 sheep then consumed this feed and became contaminated with PBBs before the error was discovered. These events were dramatized in the 1981 film Bitter Harvest.
What the hell? Slit their bellies open, you'll find 100% unadulterated AF10.
AF10 killed him?
That's all the research there is on PBB. Now, there are some things in there that we have to... no! Oh, don't drink that milk. If a cow eats this AF stuff, then the PBB's inside them. Now, there's PBB in that. I'll test it, but it's there. And it's in anybody who drank the milk. See, you sold that milk. Now, everybody who drank it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walter? Walter?
I got it, Ned.
What?
The sickness. I've been sitting here all morning. I can't remember how to plow.
Now look, see here? I called them bastards way back in July, right here, see? I called them and I asked them right then, was there anything wrong with the feed? And they made all kinds of tests, and they didn't find nothing at all. Nothing, no poison, nothing. What was it?
PBB.
If and when the full force of government is brought to bear, I believe we'll find that a significant percentage of the people in this state have been contaminated by PBB.
That is speculation.
At this point,
That is inflammatory speculation designed to scare.
well, I hope it scares the hell out of somebody here so we can get an immediate quarantine put on these farms.
You'd have us shut down maybe a quarter of the farms in the state on a whim?
Studies indicated that PBB had spread through the food chain. In one test of a sample of Michigan's residents, 97% of those tested had traces of PBB in fat tissue. Laboratory studies have linked PBB with weakened resistance to disease in human beings. On July 27, 1989, the Los Angeles Times reported, FDA allows genetically modified RBGH to endanger milk. FDA ignores evidence on cancer risks. These hormones, known as RBGH, are manufactured by chemical companies such as Monsanto. Apart from economic and veterinary concerns, bovine growth hormone pose grave consumer health risks that have not been investigated by the industry or FDA.
What Fox Television told us was that we were just the people to be the investigators.
Do any stories you want, ask tough questions, and get answers.
One of the first stories that Jane came up with was the revelation that most of the milk in the state of Florida and throughout much of the country was adulterated with the effects of bovine growth hormone, the artificial hormone that farmers were injecting into their cows so that they would produce more milk.
With Monsanto, I didn't realize how effectively a corporation could work to get something on the marketplace. Of course, the FDA, let's not leave them out. They had to get the federal regulators convinced that this was a fine and safe product. The longest test they did for human toxicity was 90 days on 30 rats.
Posilac is the single most tested new product in history.
The scientists within Health Canada looked very carefully at bovine growth hormone and came to very different conclusions than the Food and Drug Administration in the U.S. did. They saw serious potential human health problems, and they stood up in Canada and said, we're not going to approve this because we don't believe it's safe. Fax machine spit out a letter from this very high-priced lawyer in New York that Monsanto had hired.
And it said there will be dire consequences for Fox News if the story airs in Florida.
Called us upstairs to his office and he said, what would you say if I killed this piece? We said, well, look, let us show you the research that we have. To which he replies, I don't care about that. I said, you know, this is news. This is important. This is stuff people need to know. And he said, we just paid $3 billion for these television stations. We'll tell you what the news is. The news is what we say it is.
On December 7, 2006, the Harvard University Gazette reported, hormones in milk can be dangerous. The article states, the milk we drink today is quite unlike the milk our ancestors were drinking, without apparent harm for 2,000 years. The milk we drink today may not be nature's perfect food. Butter, meat, eggs, milk, and cheese are implicated in higher rates of hormone-dependent cancers in general. Breast cancer has been linked particularly to consumption of milk and cheese.